Hey friends, I'm Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to... It's Sunday. Sunday Q&A. We're going to be swapping on a set of Velox V3 motors onto the test bed rig that I test stuff on. Thus the name, test bed rig. Shout out to T-Motor for sending these over. Very cool of them. They reached out to me. They said, hey, you want to try a new motor? I said, sure. What size you got? And they said 2207 or 2306. I was like, 2306 and 1950 kV. Chris Rosser tested these motors a few weeks ago, and they did really well. The 2207 2050 kVs did the best in his testing, basically. But these 2306 1950s also performed really well. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited. They're a really cool green color. They will go with the purpliness to give us that, you know, Joker theme or whatever. So, yeah, that'll be super cool. And it's also going to be, we're also going to have, you guys are going to be able to check out my mailbag And this is a Q&A stream, as they all are. Fill the chat up with any questions that you've got, and we will talk through them. And, you know, fully explain them rather than just glossing over some nonsense. I also do want to put the ultimate freestyle Cinewhoop up in the air, because I guess this is an early mailbag, but these little 1.2-inch Gem Fan bi-blades finally came, which is awesome. And the propellers that I've got on all these Cinewhoops are pretty beat up. So with that Meteor 65 airframe, we're running into, I'm sort of running into issues with, that's a little strong to say, but it is significantly more floppy than the regular Meteor 65 frame, and I've had to pull the PIDs down quite a bit and pull the and add filtering, and it still has a hard time on a freshly charged battery. Freshly charged battery at 0 throttle up in the air, it's still starting to like kind of oscillate here and there and fly away. So the tune right now on that rig is at the ragged edge, and I'm wondering if a fresh set of propellers will kind of bring it back from the ragged edge to a more realistic point. I love that the airframe is a little bit lighter, but I'm actually not super happy with how much I'm having to pull the PIDs down, how much filtering I'm having to add, how unruly it's being. You know, these freestyle rigs, I want them to be indestructible. Like, just the durability is the most important thing. And so, yeah, saving a half a gram and sacrificing a bunch of that durability, I'm kind of like, well, ooh, you know what I mean? You guys know what I mean. Ah, that hurted. So yeah, I'm not totally sold on the Meteor 65 Air. I might swap back to the regular Meteor 65 frame. I am going to do a what I really want to do before I kind of make that decision, though, is put the shorter battery charging pigtail onto the black WeBleed FPV rig, and do a bunch of back-to-back flights with the lighter rig on the airframe versus, I mean, once I change the battery connector, they should both be the same weight, so there won't be like a lighter rig, but you know, the lighter rig will be on the lighter frame, right? Obviously. Easy, Teddy. It's okay. Don't scream. When the dog yawns, he goes, ah! And I've never felt so seen in my life. If even a dog has to scream when he yawns, I'm good to go. I'm fine. I'm opening these motors down off camera, just so that you know what I'm fiddling with. In the chat, Apache Smokewood and Sniper was first. Hockey Rounds was next. Riot 9, Douglas Otwell, Troy Prelog, Mr. Dr. Death. WeBleed FPVs in the house. What's up, Zotek? Freelojo, Expander, CBFPV, Yella Captain. How are you, Yella? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to have you back. Hope all is well. Hope all is yell. See what I did there? Marlon Vera, King FPV. What's up, friends? If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do over here is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up an orange like this, and I'll know that you're talking to me. Joshua is not streaming again until like November. I just found out yesterday. So I'm wondering if I should take his time slots on Sundays and Mondays, or... Hello? What you got?
The frames.
Oh, cool. Those are big.
Well, yeah, they're the
Matt?
No, the floating ones.
Oh, cool. Um, so yeah. You were saying, I don't remember what I was saying. Couldn't have been that important. Things, words, CiottiFPV, type it, and you'll tag me. I don't know that you're talking to me. That's it. That might have been what I was saying. Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper says, what's up? How's everybody doing this sunny Sunday? Dude, it's gorgeous outside. Like the tiniest little bit cool out, but just gorgeous. Good lord. Oh! A bonus! I got 2 little hardware packs in this one. And 2 sets of stickers. Ooh! Yeah. Mr. Dr. Death says, hello, CiottiFPV and gang. Let's go! Freeloader says, hello, people of the gangliest of gangs. Yellow Captain says, hello, way too handsome CiottiFPV, and of course the collective. And Marlon Vera says, ooh, Marlon Vera with what appears to be a good question. I have a set of 1606 2700 kV motors. Do you know what kind of rig would be perfect for that kind of motor? I was thinking Cinewhoop 2.5 or 3-inch. Sometimes motors will work on a lot of different rigs. And a 1606 is a good example of that. That's a motor that you could do a freestyle rig with. You could do a cinematic rig as long as they're not notchy. You're gonna have to check that. Take the motor like this and spin the bell. And it should be nice and smooth. There should not be like these defined notches or cogs. If there are, you're not going to want to build a cinematic rig with it because that's going to be a motor that vibrates really hard. Those motors are better for like full tilt racing builds. You could do a racing build. There's a lot of different scenarios that a 1606 will work in, mainly because of the ratio of stator height to stator width. So like a Cinewhoop motor, for example, would be like a 2004, 2004. 20 millimeters wide, 4 millimeters tall. If you look at the ratio of height to width, a 2004, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So it's a 5-to-1 ratio of width to height. So that gives you a motor that's very wide, which will stay nice and cool. Which on a Cinewhoop is a really good thing because a Cinewhoop is picking up a heavy GoPro, even though it's only a 3-inch or a 3.5-inch rig. A 1606, 16 wide, 6 tall, 6, 12, 18, less than 3-to-1, right? Because it's 16. When you are less than 3-to-1, you can potentially start running into overheating issues because the motor's not wide enough to be in the airflow of the propeller. So 1606 approaches this world where the motor can potentially overheat, and that's not what you want in a Cinewhoop, especially because when a motor overheats, motors will get hot, and that's fine, but when they overheat, they become inconsistent, basically. The magnets the magnets are less magnetic when they get really hot. So, yeah. That motor, again, that 1606 size is kind of on the border of what you want. The other thing is 2700 kV is kind of low. If you did like a 2.5-inch rig, you would have to run that on like 8S or something just stupid to get enough kV into a 2.5-inch propeller. On 3-inch, you would only need to run it at 6S, but still, you want to try to, with micros, you want to try to stay 4S for better battery options, lighter batteries, and it makes the ESC a lot more reliable. Running 6S on a micro, you have to overspec the ESC. If you run 4S, you can get a cheap ESC for like 30-40 bucks and it'll last forever. Basically, in order to run 6S, you want to buy like a 5-inch ESC, which is going to be too expensive and too heavy, but it'll do it. I would actually recommend a 3.5 or a 4-inch rig for those motors. That's what I would personally do. I don't know what 1606s they are. I don't know if they're M5 nut or T-mount, but there are propeller options with both of those in 3.5 and 4-inch. So yeah, that's what I would look at doing with 1606s. Plus, that's a lot of stator volume in a 1606. So that's a really big, really powerful motor. 2.5-inch propellers would be drastically underpropped, even like a 5-blade on that big of a motor. Even 3-inch is going to be significantly underpropped on that big of a motor. So yeah, you really want to be 3.5-inch or 4-inch. And yeah, I would go that again. That motor size lends itself towards freestyle rather than a Cinewhoop. Although you could do it, that's going to be more based on the notchiness of those motors. If the motors are nice and smooth when you turn them by hand, you could do like a 3.5-inch or a 4-inch Cinewhoop, I guess, with them. But again, yeah, that size is a better fit for a more freestyle rig where you're not going to be lifting such a heavy GoPro. Cool? Makes sense? Everybody follow me? Follow me. Yeah. Before I pull this thing apart, I'm going to put it into Betaflight and spin these Axis 2306 motors that are on here up. I've put a bunch of batteries through these, and I've been just trying to figure out whether or not they're more durable than the T-Motor F40 Pro 4s. They aren't. But as just like a final test here, I do want to spin them up. These motors are going to end up in a giveaway. So, yeah, I want to make sure that they're not all beat to shit. I think I have 1 or 2 extras, though, so even if they are beaten, I'll be able to have a nice fresh set of motors in the giveaway. So, here we go. We're going to come into the Motors tab, and we understand the risks. And basically, we're going to put one hand on the quad itself, maybe even hold it up in the air. And you're going to ramp each one of these up to around the 1300 mark. That's where most of the vibrations are going to happen, and you'll feel it. So I'm up here, right around 1300. Motor 1 feels fantastic. Motor 2, wow, even better. I must have just replaced motor 2. Because it's like fresh and brand new. Motor 3. Motor 3's got a little bit of vibration, but it's still really clean. Motor 4. Motor 4 is also very clean. I feel like I might have replaced these 2 front motors somewhat recently. So, yeah, so motor 3 is the one that's got the most vibrations. But it's still really clean. What I'm gonna do is put a little red X on motor 3, just to let whoever gets this know that that is the motor that is actually having some sort of a vibration, and to run that motor like last. So just do like a little red X, and red X. And there we go. That's how you do it, my friend. Leave yourself notes. Don't think that you're going to remember, which motor's banged up, which one's not. Do things that you can leave yourself reminders, because otherwise you're just going to waste your time. Like, without leaving reminders, you're going to put it on the shelf. You're going to take it back out. You're going to be like, ah, shit, the one motor's banged up. You're going to get it home. You're going to forget. You're going to, like, it's just silly to not do little things here and there. Always have a Sharpie in your bag. And it's also really helpful to have one of these metallic Sharpies in your bag that have colors, so that you can write on black. This will write on carbon fiber and you can actually see it. So yeah, make sure you have those. A couple of packs of hardware with the motor nuts that I don't like, but there are some good screws in here. I have a lot of T-Motor hardware, though. So I'm going to throw these in with giveaways, actually. Well, hell, I'll throw these in with the Axis motors in that giveaway, come to think of it. Because these are the same O-rings. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect! Let's put those right back there. And this is also a mailbag. Check out my nuts. I have to look up... I have to figure out where I was talking to... where I was talking to Chris. Hold on, I might be able to find it. N-A-K-O. I think it might have been email. N-A-K-O, will that find it? Yeah, there it is. It was email. Chris Nikovsky emailed me and said, "Hey man, I've got something pretty cool. It's a Mr. Squid. He calls it the Squid Stick, which is really, really cool. So this is the 2.4 Squid Stick. This is an ELRS dongle. You can bind to this and then play the simulator wirelessly from your transmitter. I plug the transmitter in so that I can turn off the receiver in it, and it just, you know, will run infinitely and doesn't run the battery down. But good lord, is this handy to have, to not have to have a cable. I mean, I have like a setup where I have one of each cable, USB 1, 2, 3, and Lightning under my desk. So it's not like a big deal for me. I am going to try this though, because I don't know, it's nice to be lazy. He did a red and purple just for me, which was super, super, super cool of him. And yeah, I'm going to check this out. Probably next Sunday. This just showed up. I just got out of the box. I was not planning on doing any simming today. So yeah, this will be either during the week this week or next Sim Sunday. And we'll see how it is to bind to it. We'll see how it is to use it. Test if there's any latency. Looks like there's a couple little buttons on it here. The 3D printed case here was designed by Brain 3D, designed and printed by Brain 3D, so it's of course beautiful. Really, really, really cool little product. So if you want to get your sim on and not have to plug the transmitter in, this thing will do it for you. The website is ELRS Quid Stick. So he shared the S. I'm going to type it into chat. www.ELRSQUIDSTICK. Is it com? Sure is. And I'm going to copy that. All right, there it is in chat. And here it is on the internet. There it is. Squid Stick wireless USB link. He's got it in a bunch of different colors. And yeah, there it be, yo. $44.99. Get you one if you're into that kind of thing. The Squid Stop, I like that. Yeah, I've never done the wireless simming thing. It's probably very freeing. It's probably really nice to not have the plug jabbing into your crotch. And then the other mailbag is these. Other mailbag item is these 1.2-inch GemFan biblades, the 1610s, the 1210s rather, not the 1610s. I've been waiting for these for like 3 weeks. I made that stupid mistake on Amazon where I didn't look at the shipping time, and I just assumed that they would be here pretty quick, and they did not get here pretty quick. I also thought that I got these in light blue, but now that I think about it, they don't make these in light blue. So yeah, that was wishful, dumb thinking. This is only 2 sets of these. I need more than that. I guess I just assumed it would be more than 2 sets of them. That was a stupid assumption. But a couple of fresh sets of GemFan 1210 biblades is a luxury in life. That's for damn sure. I was using this Hero 10 to record 120 frame a second footage at the drift car place, at the RC drift car place, and it came out pretty good. I got some pretty good slow motion shots of it that I'm gonna drop into an edit. Should be neat. CMYK's in the house. Who else? Mr. Huggy's here. King FPV, I think I got you. Ramdonko, I got you. Let's solder some motors on, yo. Let's solder some motors on, and then we'll do a little bit of flying, answer some questions, you know, all the things. Let's do all the things. We'll do all the things at once. Moving the chat over. Get the bench cam fired up here. And all right. So this is the test bed glide that I really like whenever I'm thinking about. Oh man. Oh. Curtis Hayes, thank you for joining the Patreon, my man. Very cool of you. Curtis is going to be getting on some giveaways this next Monday. Not this coming Monday, but the Monday after that is a giveaway live stream. I should tell you guys how you can support me, because this is a completely crowdfunded show, operation, whatever. CiottiFPV.com. Join my Patreon. There's a link on there. That is the best way that you can possibly support me. $3 a month will get you in the door. That's 7.5 cents an hour of live stream content. You cannot tell me that this is not worth that. It's not? You can also do the $5 a month or up tiers, which will get you in on some gambling. First Monday of every month, I do $200 to $300 in giveaways. There's 4 different giveaways. You can get in on just a Cinewhoop and toothpick specific giveaway by doing $5 a month on Patreon, 3-inch micro brushless parts and Cinewhoop parts for $10 a month, 5-inch parts for $20 a month. Or if you want to get entered into all the giveaways, it's $30 a month. That's $1 a day, supporting your gangly buddy, chasing his dream of being an FPV full-time schlop. Freeloader dropping the links. Thank you, brother. CMYK says the Grinderino came back in stock, so I picked up 2 and some 1804 3500. Let's see how the Speedy B stack likes them apples. I think I saw that order, CMYK. I think a bunch of you guys ordered stuff from Oh My God's website and actually remembered to use my affiliate link, which is incredible, because I'm pretty sure when I placed my order for the Grinderino, I forgot to use my own affiliate link. So thank you for that, guys. Over on CiottiFPV.com, there's a shitload of affiliate links, too. Replace your bookmarks with my affiliate links to all those websites, Amazon, Oh My God, Get FPV. There's a whole bunch of websites there. And then there's an Etsy store where you can buy yourself something nice. And then there's a Fiverr page where you can work one-on-one with me, and a Teespring store where you can get fun t-shirts and other pieces of apparel. So that's how you support me. Thank you for all that you do. You guys are the absolute best. Looks like Gage Costa also joined the Patreon. Thank you, brother. Welcome to the gangliest gang in all the gangs. Know what I'm saying? One of you guys did a WeBleed order and remembered to hit my thing. Thank you, thank you. As a reminder, there is a sound pack, a CiottiFPV sound pack available on my Patreon page. So that you can make your transmitter say jib jab and shit and fuck and piss and ass and all the things that you want it to say that you can just blame on me. So, you know, do it. CMYKFPV commented on that sound pack. He said, jib jabs is my favorite so far. This is a great sound pack and well documented. Thanks all. Huge shout out to the silent but beautiful supporter that created that sound pack. He did an amazing job. Leave a comment in that Patreon post, letting that person know how much you appreciate what they've done, because it's super cool that they did it. And they did a hell of a job. It's super awesome. Pyro Drone email of the week with a bunch of new products. Just scrolling through it real quick. Nothing super insane. X Nova hat. That's pretty cool. So I watched I watched Chris Rosser's review of the HD0 20x20 VTX, and then I watched Joshua Bardwell's review of it. And during Chris Rosser's review, it was not outputting much power. It was only outputting like 240, 250 milliwatts when it was set to 1 watt. He found out that there's something weird on the prototypes, and he had to loosen the screws up. Once he loosened the screws up, it started making full power. And then I watched Joshua's review, and the signal strength looked really bad on Joshua's unit. So I think, and I asked Joshua about this, he hadn't heard about the whole screw issue. I have a feeling that in Joshua's review, it was at 250-ish milliwatts. It was certainly performing that way. Like, he would go behind like one tree, and it would start to get really nasty. So yeah, I think Joshua's review of the HD0 20x20 VTX might have not had it at full performance. I mean, you know, you ship a bunch of prototype units out that don't perform right, that's gonna happen. You know, this is not. Oh, nice. Riot9 says JB took down his video. Okay, there we go. He hadn't. It's funny. I messaged him like, "Hey man, check out Chris Rosser's review. I think your unit might have been at low power. You need to unscrew your screws." Blah 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 blah. I was like, "I'm sorry if I'm the 10,000th person to let you know." And he was like, "No, you're the first person. I didn't know anything about it." So yeah. Okay, you guys are catching me up. JB said he was gonna pull his HD0. Let's just sort of, just out of curiosity, I want to kind of see if he pulled it already. Let's see real quick. That's not what I want. Videos. Yeah, it's gone. That's a shame, man. That's that's a lot of work. You know, there was a whole bunch of work that went into that, and it's just gone. You know, he's not. I get. He might be able to put it back up with some overlays that say like, you know, unit was not at full power or whatever, but probably not. He will probably replace it, which is stanky, because, you know, like, everything he's talking about in the review is is assuming that it's at 1 gigawatt, right? And it wasn't. So that sucks, man. You have to do a lot more work just to get that review back up, you know what I mean, in a place where it's yeah, where it's factual. But, you know, this is one of the things that makes Joshua awesome, is that he's willing to put, like, he's not just going to leave that review up and say, nah, screw it, and just drop, like, a subtitle in the beginning that said, in YouTube's editor, that says, like, unit was jacked up. You know, like, he's going to do it right. He's going to pull the review down with potentially bad information in it, and he's going to do it the right way. And, you know, that's one of the many reasons that makes him the goddamn best, yo. And if you don't think so, you're wrong. All right, people. So this is the welcome to the beauty of race wire LEDs and just race wires in general. We are going to swap all 4 motors out on this rig way quicker than we could possibly imagine, with having to dig in here and desolder it from the ESC. You know, pull the top plate, try to get this out of the way, deal with all that. This is the absolute beauty and glory of race wires right here. Whenever you need to switch a motor out, your life becomes so much easier. And the LED race wires also act as a nightlight for finding it, also for conducting night flight operations, where legally, you need to have LEDs on your rig that are visible up to 3 statute miles. So yeah, there's that. All right, friends, let's clippity-clop these motors off of here and jing-jong the fling-flong. How's that sound? Try to give you guys a little close-up of the soldering that's about to go on. Let's do some soldering. Let's complain about the Logitech camera. Ready? Come on. Come on, you shit shack. I'm giving you flesh tones to focus on. That's always what you want. Come on, man. Be cool. Be cool. Focus on things. There we go. There we go. All right, so... Oh, man, it's all blown out. All right, this sucks. Well, I'm just going to be desoldering, so there's not... It's not terribly exciting, if I'm honest. So let's just blast through it. Let's get a move on here. All right, so the magic of desoldering is just putting a bunch of flux on. I'll sometimes do this little jib jab though, where I grab all 3 wires, put the tip of the soldering iron flat down on all 3 pads, and you can actually yoink all 3 of them at once. Kind of nice way of saving a little bit of time. It really doesn't save that much time, to be honest. And it is a way. It is a good way to get kind of sloppy with it. So I don't know. I don't know if I really recommend doing it this way, but after you've done enough builds, you can start to do weird shit and typically get away with it. See, and like that's why, like I didn't get this last one. But you know, might save you a minute. After you lift the wires up, just give them a second to cool off. If you drop them back down, there's a good chance they'll just melt right back onto the pads. So just hold them up in the air for a second. And the other thing that happens is the wires have a tendency to want to like bridge to one another. And it's kind of one of these things where like you might save a second, but if anything goes wrong, you're going to end up spending more time fixing it than the time that you would have saved. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth it. S. Wiseman says, what do you think are my chances of getting any support from Flywoo for crapped out AIO after just a few flights? I'm not hopeful. You might be all right. I don't personally know anything about specifically Flywoo's customer service. I don't know if they're US based. I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're bad. Maybe somebody in chat will have dealt with them. It's certainly worth sending an email to find out though. Flywoo's been doing some really good bind and flies lately, and they seem to really be kind of paying attention. And that's a really, really, really good thing. So, yeah, go for it, man. Shoot them. Assume that they're going to help you is going to be my advice. And yeah, let them know what happened. You know, I always kind of say, like, assume that they're going to help you, but I don't ever say assume that they're going to help you. But what I say is, like, don't be surprised if they don't. You know, like don't get your hopes up, basically. Because, like, even if they do help you, they might ask you to mail it back halfway around the world. And then the shipping cost and the time that's going to take a lot of times becomes not really worth it. So, you know, just don't get your hopes up, but give it a shot. You know, if it blew up after a couple of flights, yeah, you should be all right. I would think that they would help you out. Again, I have no idea. I've never dealt with Flywoo, but definitely give it a shot. Athix says, did you see WeBleed FPV crown whoop frame? Where'd you see that, Athix? let me know how to find that, and we'll take a look together. All right, and oh God, it fell over. Okay, so one of the things that I do is run these socket-headed screws up in the arms, just so that if you grind them down, there's more material here to grind down, and they strip out a lot. They're a lot more resistant to stripping out. But then I run these little TPU arm guards up front, and these are the ones from BMC 3D. They have a little taper on the inside of them, and the taper works really well with these conical screws. So I actually run conical screws on the outside here to hold the TPU on a little bit better, and then I do the socket-headed screw on the inside. So that's kind of what you're seeing. That's why you're seeing me switch drivers here, because the conical screws are M2 or 2 millimeter, and then the socket-headed screws are 2.5 millimeter. So on the rear, I don't run those TPU arm guards, so I just run 4 of the 2.5 mil screws. Sorry, 3. I run 3 of them. Save a little bit of weight. I've been running 3 screws for many years, and I've never had a situation where it's bitten me in the ass. So I will continue to do it. And it's pretty obvious. Like if the 4th screw would have helped, it's a very obvious thing. What the hell's going on here? There's something inside of the Allen hole in this screw that I'm gonna have to check out in a second. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Also like a fucking leaf up in here. All right. What's happening in here? What is this material up in here? So let's do this. Let's take a smaller driver, put it in there, and just kind of work it around a little bit. Okay. And now let's take the right size driver and see if it'll... There we go. All's right with the world. Cool. So these Axis, they call them AF236. They're actually 2306, 1810 kV. They were really good. I don't have any complaints about them. They're a little heavy. They're a little on the heavy side, which is really kind of the deal breaker for me with them. But it's, you know, they're fine. If you can't get T-Motor F40 Pro 4s, these might be what you want to get. Let's cut down. Let's compare them in weight to the T-Motors. So in order to do that, we got to get the wires cut the right length. So let's match them up like this and trim them down. Okay. So the motors that we're installing here are the T-Motor Velox V3 2306 1950 kV, and with the shortened wires ready for the race wires, we are looking at exactly 30 right on the nose, 30.0 grams. And then these Axis 2306s are 29.9. So they're exactly the same. Realistically. Well, now it says 29.8. So, okay, yeah, these are a little bit lighter. These are more expensive. These Veloxes, I believe, are a more budget motor. These Axises are like a $26 per motor. And I think the only place you can get these from is this particular size of Axis motor is Newbie Drone. They might have stocked up somewhere else, though, so I could be wrong. Denzel the Turtle says, I want to see a CiottiFPV senior soldered quad. That would be cool. Athix says he did a live stream today with the prototypes. They are a collaboration of WeBleed and Fractal Engineer. Very, very cool. No pics yet besides live stream, to my understanding. Cool. Yeah, he Zotek sent me pictures of that frame a while ago and said shh, and I've been very excited. So yeah, that frame is hopefully going to, the hope is that someone can figure out how to do one of these lighter weight frames like the Meteor 65 Air that doesn't sacrifice its ability to handle the vibrations coming out of the motors and props. So yeah, hopefully this frame will do a better job at that than the Meteor 65 Air, because yeah, I've not been blown away by the way that the Air kind of handles that. It's not that bad, and I mean the flight characteristics are still fine. So like it's not the biggest deal in the world, but I just think personally I would rather have the slightly heavier duty frame with the that I can crank the tune up a little bit more on and just worry less about as I beat it up, is it going to start oscillating at 0 throttle? Is it going to act funny if I slam it really hard somewhere in like an unrecoverable spot, right? I personally, I just don't like rigs that are on the ragged edge. I want stuff that I can crash hard and fly home without having to screw around with the PIDs. Because, God forbid you get it stuck somewhere really difficult. And like the time that you spend going, like if you bang it up too bad and it's not flyable, technically, sure, you can go into the menu and bring the PIDs down to fly it home, but like you don't have much battery life on these Cinewhoops, so how much time are you going to spend screwing around in the menus, right? It might not be the greatest idea to have a rig that's like that, is sort of where I'm at with it. You're allowed to disagree, but and also, maybe you don't fly your Cinewhoops anywhere unrecoverable. Maybe you only fly your Cinewhoops around the house, in which case, like, it matters a lot less, right? So yeah, everybody's different. Everybody needs to make up their own mind about that kind of stuff. But yeah, personally, I'm not sold yet on the Meteor 65 airframe. I think it's I don't know. Here the other thing too is that it doesn't really seem to like, it's not light enough to justify. It's not quite light enough. If it was maybe like, if it was like a full gram lighter, let's say, then it would be like, all right, well, this is probably worth the extra effort and having it require less PIDs and more filtering and whatnot. But it isn't. It's not that much lighter. So yeah, I don't really know. I don't feel like it's for me, and that's okay. Not everything is for everyone. We are all individuals, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. Always remember that. You are allowed to be uniquely you all day, every single day. So the way that I cut these down is, as you saw, just put the motors stator base to stator base, and then you can kind of use your two fingers here to pinch the wires, right? And then just, again, make sure that they're lined up perfectly down here, and then you can pinch these wires up here, and then just cut. And you can move the race wires in and out a little bit, right? Like they're VHB down right now, which is why I take the time to do it. But as long as you leave enough extra lead between the ESC and the race wire, you've got a little bit of adjustability. So if you cut a motor a little bit too short, it's not the end of the world. So a little bearing guard fell out of this motor actually, which is kind of interesting. This is the beat up motor, and this is the guard that keeps the bottom uh, dirt shield on on the bottom bearing of the motor. So let me real quick see if I can just, and I'm going to do this off camera because I have to do it with the 5X loop in my eyeball. But let me just real quick see if I can get this washer back in here. And it is going in. And there it is. And we're all set. Cool. That is back in there. Yeah, nothing wrong with these Axis 2306s. But if you can find some T-Motor F40 Pro 4s, in my opinion, those are a better bet. Just as durable, but they are significantly lighter. I think they're over 1 full gram lighter. I want to say they're like 1.2 or 1.3 grams lighter. The long and short of it is that they are the lightest of the 2306s, and they're still plenty durable because the motor shaft is what typically fails on these, and all of the motor shafts are made of the same thickness, titanium, between all of these different premium motors. So, yeah. All right. Let's just strip another couple of these down, and then we will get them tinned and installed. All right. I like to strip these wires with my fingernails, even though I bite the shit out of my fingers and barely have fingernails. Still have just enough. It says, lightweight doesn't always mean better. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, there's a real balance. There's a balance to everything in life, you know? When you're young, you typically just want like everything to be extreme. Then I feel like as you get older, you start to appreciate the balance of things. And you want something that can kind of do everything really well. Maybe there's like one or two things that it does better, but you know, as a kid, I feel like you just want stuff that only does one thing really well, right? You want your car to be as loud as it possibly can. You want like everything to be dialed up to 11, and typically you can't dial shit up to 11 in all ways. You can only do like one at a time. You know, nowadays it's like kids want their cars to look as dumb as possible so that they get as much negative attention as they possibly can, because you know, negative attention is better than no attention, apparently. Which is just an insane thought. It's insane that people actually think that to be true. Yeah, I don't get that at all. I believe quite the opposite. I would rather have no attention than negative attention. But hey, that's just me. CiottiFPV says, I've just heard people joking about it taking days to get ELRs to bind. Yeah, it typically takes me 2 days to get ELRs to bind. But once it binds, good God, is it worth it. It is just so much, not so much, but it is significantly better than anything else out there. And it doesn't always take 2 days to bind. It's the newbie drone stuff has always bound up right away. And like now that I've kind of learned a little bit more about it, more often do I get ELRS stuff that binds without any issue. And of course, now that I've said that, the next dozen ELRS things that I try to bind are going to be a complete disaster. So, you're welcome. But yeah, ELRS is very obviously the way to go. Just, you know, welcome to FPV in a way. It's going to give you the full FPV experience of like, I don't understand why this isn't working. Oh, look, now it's working. What the hell? It's just sort of the way it goes sometimes. I don't like it, but it is what it is. My little flux fan is battery is dead. All right, so let's get these motors tinned, and then we can throw them on the rig. And then I'll go fly a 5-inch rig freestyle this week. What do you think of that? Is that exciting? I'm gonna find a place to do that. I don't think I've really like ripped a 5-inch spot since I've moved here. So that'll be kind of cool. It'll be cool to find a spot and go break some shit. They only sent me 4 of these motors, unfortunately. So what I'll probably do is buy a 5th one for eventually when I give these away, because I never like to give away just 4 motors at a time. And chances are I'll break one of these motors, so probably need to get that 5th one just for myself to continue the testing. All right. One down. Dumb thing to do. Move it over like that. Okay. So when you're tinning wires like this, the what you're really going for is you're trying to push the solder in between the strands of the wire. You don't want it to just sit up on top of the wire. So put the tip of the iron down below and then push the solder from on top. And you can also kind of use the solder to push the wire into the tip of the soldering iron. Let me this is a good chance to give you guys an actual decent view of what the hell I'm doing here. Okay, let's see. Will it focus? It focused! Holy hell. So, tip of the soldering iron underneath. Eventually you're going to build up a little blob of solder on it, which is going to help, but in the interim, just push the solder into either the tip of the soldering iron, or once the wire is heated up, the top of the wire, and you try to push it down through. Here's a fresh motor we'll do from scratch. Oh boy. All the little strands got all jacked up. Let me just fix them real quick. There we go. Okay. So I like to separate them a little bit like this, just so that you have room to work. Make sure all the strands are all bundled up nice. And then come in from underneath. A little bit of solder here. And there we go. Wire's hot enough. And that's it. Next one. Give it a second. Put a little bit of fresh solder right next to it. And then there we go. Next one. A little bit of fresh solder. Basically, if it stops smoking, the flux is all burned off. So add a little bit of solder to the tip of the iron right next to the wire if it has stopped smoking, like you just saw a second ago. And then we got one more here. You don't want to put too much on there, but I would rather have too much than not enough. All right. Opposite sides. Good to go. Last one. And yeah, like I said, you can use the solder to push the wire into the tip of the soldering iron. That's fine. And at the last second there, I was just making sure that there was enough solder on those wires. All right, there we go, my friends. These motors are all tinned up. It's good to just give them a quick look, and I'm glad that I gave this one a quick look. This is a good example of what you don't want. You don't want a big ball of solder. Man, you ain't going to be able to see that. You can kind of see it. Yeah, see how you can see the individual strands and then there's the big ball of solder on the side there? You don't want that. You want all the strands to be encapsulated with solder. So we need to hit this one. I was just, I just didn't spend enough time on this one. And it didn't fully heat up the wire to then start pulling the solder in. So just give it another second, be a little bit more patient with it. And now on the bottom, we're good to go. That's a good time to check the other ones and just make absolutely sure that they're okay too. And now the pads on the race wires have solder on them. So, I mean, we should be fine. But still. Might as well get it right the first time. And make sure that we have enough solder on all the joints. Okay, yeah, the rest of these look fine. So there were 2 of them that weren't great, but they weren't that bad either. Okay, so now is the easy part, believe it or not. When you do it like this, this last bit here becomes very easy and very straightforward because you've got the wires tinned and you've got the pads tinned. And so you just have to connect them, and it's super easy to do that. Especially if you add a little bit of flux. There already is some still on these pads from when we removed the motors, but there is pretty much no such thing as too much flux. It's just going to make your life easier. So just add a little bit more to these pads here. If you really want to, if you really struggle with soldering, you can also add some to the wires themselves on the motors. But I've been doing this forever, and so I can get away with just a little bit here. And like I said, there is still some solder left over from when we removed the motors. So technically speaking, I really didn't even need to do that at all, but we do it anyway. We're going to go from left to right so that we're not crossing over ourselves with the tip of the soldering iron. So just get the wire exactly where you want it. Bring in the heat. Push it down a little bit to fan the wires out. And then remove the heat. And you want to be as quick as possible, but you also want to stay on there long enough to get the pad and the wire completely hot. So get it done quick. You know, the pacing that I've got here is a good reference point. Don't rush though. And if you have to, if you're having trouble, get off the pad, let it cool down, and come back to it. Always give it a second to cool down at the end there. That middle one is looking a little funny. Let me take a quick look at it. Okay, the silicone is not hanging off the pad on that middle one, so let me just rework it real quick. Basically, the wire is too far up on the pad. I need to pull it back a little bit here, which will let it sit down nice and flat. That's what I want. I really like to make sure that the silicone is hanging off the side of the PCB so that the wires can sit completely flat on there. That's going to give you a really, really, really strong joint. All right, there we go. 1 done, 3 to go. And really, that's all there is to it. Like when you do all of these individual steps, each step becomes significantly easier than if you try to just raw dog the motor up here with freshly stripped wires and add solder all at the same time. That's a good way to get a joint that is really weak and You do not want that, especially on a big, angry quad like this. First one I always do by hand. All right, looking good. This rig's got a smatterassing of colors. It's got purple TPU, green motors, pink LED race wires on it. I think there's another another LED on the bottom. I don't know what color that one is though. All right, middle wire is good to go. Last one. Do not blow on these. Just let them cool down on their own. And be as still as possible when they're cooling. If you're moving it around when it's cooling, you increase your chances of a cold solder joint, which is a very weak solder joint that you can't really see. It looks like a normal joint, but it's weak and it'll let go when you don't want it to. All right, good to go. Always check your work, my friends. Always, always, always. I got a mess on this workbench over here. I need to spend a minute cleaning this up at some point. Okay. Ramdongo says, news, frame wars. Yeah, there is a frame war coming, and I can't wait for it. Hockey Round says, would you be able to suggest a tweezer kit for building? Not really. You know, I did start to buy a bunch of different tweezers from Amazon to see if I could find the ones that were the best. They were all so similar that it just close your eyes and point. You want a straight set that have really, really fine tips. You want a set of angled with really sharp tips, and then you want something like this that has grooves on the inside here. That's me scraping my finger over the little grooves. Those are the 3 tweezers that you want. You can probably find a little kit for like $10 that has them. Just snag it and go. I've not found one set of tweezers to be that like significantly better than another. And yeah, if you don't like spend a ton of money on them, if the tips get like broken, you don't feel bad just throwing them out and getting a new set, which is kind of important. All right, there we go. Let me take a quick look at that one. It looks kind of funny. Yeah, there's not quite enough solder on there. Let's just add a little tiny bit of solder to that joint. Actually, I'm going to add the solder to the tip of the iron. And then I'm going to bring that in on this joint. And it'll transfer some of that solder over. There we go. That's better. Like I said, you don't want too much solder. You don't want like a big balls of solder. But at the same time, you want enough solder that you don't want any sharp angles in the solder joint. You want nice, smooth. You want it to look like the solder really did flow on there. So yeah, look for smoothness. If you see any roughness on a solder joint, that could be bad. And that's what I saw. I saw a little bit of roughness. What I was actually seeing is like the individual strands of wire. And technically speaking, you do like the absolute perfect way to get a solder joint is for you to be able to see the individual strands of wire, but they are all coated in solder. We work kind of fast and loose here because we're going to smash these things into the concrete anyway and have to rework them. So I tend to lean towards having a little bit of extra solder on there. And yeah, that's what I just did with that first joint. And the last one that I just did is kind of in the same boat, but there is just barely enough where I'm happy with it. So we're gonna move on to the last one. Throw a couple screws in these, and we'll be good to go. I'll have another little testing field day here. All right, there's one. And what I like to do with the tweezers is hold the wire in a way that like I can push the tweezers down against the carbon fiber arm to hold them absolutely perfectly still, so that when it's cooling, there's no chance of a cold solder joint. So like get the wire where you want it, and then loosen up on the tweezers. Push the tweezers down into the carbon, and then grip with the tweezers again, and that way they're like digging down and they're nice and solid, and the wire is in here, so that when you're when they're cooling, there's absolutely no motion whatsoever. Make sense? Meccano Studio says spring-loaded tweezers come in handy as well. They do. You know, I do not use them much though. I forget all about the spring-loaded tweezers that I have in here, but every once in a while they do come in very, very, very handy. These are completely fine. There's a million different spring-loaded tweezers out there, but yeah, these do every once in a while. These are the absolute perfect tool. So definitely have a set of these in your arsenal. Christ, I even have plastic tweezers in case I'm working on something that's conductive, or I don't know, needs some gentleness, some gentility. That's a word, right? So yeah, there you go. 12 solder joints, a little bit of a soldering tutorial for you. Any questions that you've got, leave them in a comment or in the chat. Hello! I hear people. Love me. Oh, nope. Door got closed. No love. That's not true. All right. I just want to add a little bit of extra solder to this one joint here. Whoops. Whoops. That did not go well. All right, I have to completely rework this one. I got a little carried away with it. Okay. Get this guy down here. There we go. That's the stuff. All right. Take another quick look at it. And yeah, good to go. Well, now I'm gonna just really quickly touch up the third one. The third one is backed off the pad a little bit too much. Even though I just switched the soldering iron off, there's probably enough heat in it to just scooch this wire forward a little bit. And there we go. All set. Cool. I just wanted a little bit more of the wire up on the pad. It was kind of pulled back a little bit. And oh yeah, much better. Much better. All right, so yeah, those are good to go. Throw some screws in it, and away we shall go. Again, I've got two conicals on these fronts, on the outsides, to grab these TPU arm guards a little bit better, because there's an angle in the TPU. So yeah, I got two conicals here, and then and I know I should Loctite these, but a lot of times I don't. I just crank them really good. Like if you crank these down really good, the stator is a nice thick chunk of aluminum, so you can crank on these pretty solidly. A lot of times my screws will have like leftover Loctite on them, which is one of the reasons I don't Loctite every single time. A lot of times, like, the screw will just be good to go, and it's like, okay, fine, I'm not going to complain. So yeah, these, I don't think they have any on them. But, again, this is a test rig, so these motors will probably be coming off at some point, so I'm not going to go through I'm not going to spend the time adding Loctite to these. I've had really good luck just cranking them tight and smacking them down. Connell Studio is dropping a link to some cross-lock tweezers. If you're going to get some tweezers on Amazon, do me a favor. Hit CiottiFPV.com and hit my affiliate link. I have an Amazon affiliate link in there. All you got to do is click it, and it'll drop my code into your shopping cart. And then when you check out, I'll get a little percentage of your total cart. Yeah, these MIP drivers are a big enough size. The handle is big and comfy enough where you can really get some twist and get these things locked down. 3 screws. We're gonna go here. Yeah. In the rear, it's not confusing, but you can argue for. In the front, it's obvious where the 3rd screw goes. In the back, it's a little bit less obvious because it's a question of, like, where are you going to hit more, in the front or in the back. I've always put the 3rd screw here, basically on the front of the inner screw pad. You could make a pretty good argument for doing it the other way, though, so I don't really know. But I've always done it this way, and I've never had an issue. So I'm going to continue doing it this way. Get out of there. So yeah, this motor got cut a little bit too long, but we can just scooch the race wire in, and away we go. All is right with all the things in your face. Okay, conical and sockets. Conicals on here real quick. Yeah, like this screw actually. These conical screws have a ton of Loctite on them already. There we go. Okay. All set. All right. So we will throw this into Betaflight and spin these motors up, get them spinning the right direction, give them a little listen and a feel to see how well balanced they are out of the box. And yeah, this thing will be ready to go. There it is. Green and perp, yo. What else do you want from me? Let me put a little, a 4th little pad on here. Driving me insane, this thing rattling around on the damn desk. This is the last of my magical immersion RC foam. They might have more on their website, I'm not sure. I cut that a little bit too small. Probably gonna rip off. Oh well. Okay. And so let's just throw this on here real quick, like. Come on. I just had it. There it is. Okay, and I've been putting this foam kind of like up here. Pushing it into these clip glops. All right, there we go. It still wobbles around because one of the foams is fresh and the other 3 are banged up. But hey, can't have everything. Okay, Yeah. Farts. Plugging into Betaflight. Let's get that battery back out. And spin these up. Velox V3. 2306, 1950 kV. Ready? Here we go. They sound like motors. Betaflight. Connect. And motors tab. And the first thing we're going to do is just get the directions right. I understand the risks. Wizard. Start and spin. Motor number 1 is wrong. We're going to reverse it. Motor number 2 is correct. Motor number 3 is correct. Motor number 4 is going to be wrong. And it sure is. There we go. Stop motors. Close. Now we're going to come in here. We're going to pick the rig up and just feel what the vibrations are like with these motors on. Very smooth. Exactly what I would expect. Yep, feels good. That one's really clean. Oh, wow, that one's really clean right there. Wow, yeah, the motor 4 is like perfectly balanced. Perfect. Let me just check the rotation one more time. Out, and out. So we're good. Cool, all set. I don't really need to change anything. These are roughly the same KV as the motors that came off of it. I guess, I mean, I can check to see what the motor limiting is at. Might as well. See, I mean, if it's even on, it might be at full, might be at 100%. PID tuning, and then, motor output limit is at 90%. The motors that came off of it are 1810 kV. The ones that I just put on are 1950. So I am going to take even more RPM out of these. I'm going to come from 90 down to 85. 85% motor output limit. So what's that the equivalent to? We're going to go 0.85 times, what did I say these are? 1950. 1950. So we're basically making these into 1657 kV motors. Yeah, from 1950 down to 1657. That's just what I like. I like motors that are between 16 and 1700 kV on 6S on 5-inch rigs. Denzel the Turbo says this mismatched cable stays on the arms of triggering me. Yeah. Yeah. There's one black and 3 blues. The blues don't last very long. I don't like these anyway, but this is kind of a thrash 'em and crash 'em rig. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to flying these. They are, yeah, like I said, they did really good on Rosser's testing. They're not notchy at all, and aren't they not super expensive either? I think these motors are these are these the eco motors, or I think they are, right? The Velox is the most economical of the T motors. Let's see. Or is that the Pacer? Maybe am I thinking of the Pacer? Nah, look at that, man. $14.89. Good lord, that's cheap. Yeah, so here's the motor that I just put on. I have it open in a tab because I need to do a Power Drone order, and I'm going to get an extra motor. So yeah, $14.89. That's, wow. You know what that means? That means that these Axis motors are really heavy, because these Velox V3s have stainless steel motor shafts, which are significantly heavier than the titanium motor shafts. So yeah, these Axis 2306s are heavy. They were only like 0.1 gram lighter, and that is not the weight difference. If you have two totally identical motors, one of them with a titanium motor shaft, one of them with a stainless steel motor shaft. I think it's close to a gram is the weight difference. Definitely don't quote me on that, but yeah, it's certainly more than 0.1 of a gram. That's for sure. So yeah, these Veloxes are pretty lightweight, all things considered, for an eco motor. Much lighter weight construction than these Axis, that's for sure. All right, and they seem to have nice the spot where the on the top of the bell, the inside of the top of the bell, where it grabs and bites into the propeller, is actually really nice on these. Man, the bell design on these is very similar to the Axis motors. These are actually very similar to the Axis motors in a lot of different ways. But the Axises are a premium motor with a titanium shaft, so that's a big difference. So yeah, I might have durability problems with these. I've never had good luck with stainless steel motor shafts. They tend, for me, they bend a lot easier than the titanium motor shafts. I mean, that's just the properties of stainless steel versus titanium. And once a motor shaft starts bending, then the bell starts wobbling, and that puts a whole bunch of vibrations into the system, which is really bad. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm not gonna I'm not like I used to. I'm not gonna slam this thing for 6 months straight. I'm gonna fly it hard. I'm gonna put some crashes into it, and then we're gonna see how it does. And we're gonna move on to the next, because the whole 5-inch freestyle thing is not like my bread and butter anymore, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But we'll also see how they feel power wise. I know I have them turned down, but there are other things other than KV that make a motor perform differently. So yeah, 5-inch rig, ready to be sent to its death. Not its death. It's ready to be sent to its glory. Thank you, T-Motor. Very cool of you for sending these Velox V3s over. Looking forward to getting them up in the air and seeing how they be. How does this charge? What does this need? This plug? So it is 4:30. Let's put a couple of Cinewhoop batteries in the air to see how to just continue with the learning of what is happening here. Is this going to charge? Are you going to charge, dude? What was that? Come on back. I think I might have shorted the USB port. Oh boy. Hey, there it is. Let's try this again. Why won't this charge? Weird. Let's get the chat moved over a little bit here. And good to go. We did mailbag. We did the 2306 install. Any other questions, drop them. In the meantime, let's fire up these two Cinewhoops and see if we can start finding some differences between them. Let's do that today, actually. Let's see if I can really tell the weight difference between the WeBleed rig and the Cinewhoop rig. Cinewhoop rig is over here. There it is. Okay, and I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need these. I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need this. I don't need this. I do need this. I need this. I need this. This, and this. Get all that? And I hope so. So let's get a move on here. Yeah, so these two rigs are really almost identical. There is a the Meteor 65 regular framed rig is a little bit heavier because it's got a slightly longer lead on it, but I don't think that makes that much of a difference. I mean, there's basically a 1 point something gram, 1.2 maybe gram difference between these two rigs, which is a lot on a Cinewhoop, but amazingly, in the past, I haven't really been able to feel the difference between these two rigs in the air. They both just feel great because they've got really high KV 0702s on them, 32,000 and 32,500, and yeah, they just feel awesome. Both rigs feel great. But the big thing I want to test here is a fresh set of propellers on the lighter weight rig with the airframe to see if that fixes the off throttle aggression that it has. Gamma Gonad's out of here. Thanks, brother. Frank Douglas says, better late than never. I could only join just now. JB's not live streaming at all until I think November. If you'd want to stream earlier on Sunday and Monday. Yep, we were talking about that earlier in the stream. I don't know. I mean, you know, most of you guys I feel like watched Joshua before this, but I don't know, like I have my time slot. I don't know if I've never really known if it's better for me to stream in Joshua's time slot versus my own. On one hand, like there are people that don't watch Joshua that do watch me, right? So for those people, they would probably want me to be in the regular time slot that they're used to. I mean, or maybe nobody cares. That's definitely possible. But yeah, I never know. I never know what's a better idea. Okay, so fresh, brand new Gemfan 1210 biblades. What a treat! They just fit right on there. No drilling necessary. No nonsense. Rockcrawler says you should do both time slots. That's a lot, man. I know it seems like I'm just sitting here hanging out with you guys, but like it's mentally exhausting. The questions and like trying to just keep speaking and whatnot. 4 hours is really, really tough. So yeah, I probably won't like do that on a regular basis. Every once in a while when there's something going on, we can certainly do it, but yeah, it's tough to do that like over and over and over again. I've got mismatched props on this as well. I hate to burn all of these brand new props all at once. Well, let's see. Hold on. I am doing a Pyrodrone. Look at this thing, by the way. SpeedyB goggles BEC for DJI Goggles 2 and Goggles V2. This seems like a super cool little device. SpeedyB makes like really useful little things. Oh my god, the Goggles 2 have a different barrel plug. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Oh my god, you sons of bitches. Yeah, it's got a little screen on it that tells you the voltage of the LiPo, output current, output voltage. Just seems like a really nice low voltage alarm. Just seems like a really, really, really nice little box here. I don't do the look. You could charge your phone with it. I don't do the battery in your pocket setup. I hate having wires going up to my head. So this thing is not for me. But I did want to leave it opened in a tab so that I could show it to you guys because I didn't know this existed. So yeah, SpeedyB goggles BEC. Very, very cool. So I want to go to propellers by size, micro, and I want to see if they have the, I need more of these biblades. Tell me that you have them. No, wait, that's the 1.6s. Please have them. Please be in stock. No. No. Damn. All right. Well. Okay. I don't know why it's not autofilling, but there we go. All right. Well, that's a bummer, but that's fine. I will live. I'm going to put fresh propellers on both of these. I'm not going to throw these props off that I'm taking, but yeah. Frank has that Speedy B BEC. He says it's okay. You have to press the button to see anything on the display. It's not always on. And keep pressing the toggle through. Could be better implementation. Good to know. Chick with a stick has arrived. Yeah. Here we go. Let's get fresh props on both of these, and that'll be an even better comparison. There is quite the aggressive piece of hair wrapped around the bottom of this stator. But now it is gone. This is the one. Let's pull this last prop, put these freshies on. All right. Whoa, what the hell is that? It's kind of like blue twine wrapped around the base of that motor. Okay, so props out. And yeah, man, these GemFan 1210s, every single other manufacturer of micropropellers needs to take notes from GemFan's biblades as to what is the exact right inner diameter of the hole in the propeller so that you can actually put the propellers on without mangling the motor shafts and then get them back off. So take note, manufacturers. GemFan's got the exact right inner diameter on their biblades. It's just perfect. Not too big, not too little. That's what she said. All right, yo. We are almost there. Crows are going ham outside. Something's happening. Birds are yelling. Those aren't crows. Those are blue jays, actually. They're out there just screaming their little blue jay heads off. There it is! Fresh propellers on both Cinewhoops. What a time to be alive. They're going to just silently sing right across the room in a second here. We're going to put the air lightweight setup in the air first. And see how it is. I did that too soon. Transmitter's not turned on. Goggles are not turned on, but we gonna be alright. There it is! Huzzah! MFers. Okay, here we go. RX lost right away. Great. Nope, it's still upset. This tune is still on the edge. Man, it is light, though. I think maybe I can feel the lightness. Oh, boy. Oopsie. Yeah. Here. Jeez. I've never had this hard of a time turtle moding. Oh yeah, man. This thing is not happy. Whoo, yeah. Uh-oh. I need to, yeah, this tune is like absolutely like it's you could not push this tune any farther. And I do not like that. Because there's these moments every once in a while where I'm zero throttle and it's like and that's creating thrust that I don't expect or want. So let's bring this thing into Betaflight and add a little bit. I don't know if we're gonna add filtering or not. Oh, this USB cable is not working now. Okay. Hold on. Where's this USB cable go? It goes over here to this USB hub. And so let's unplug it and plug it back in. Nope. I gotta unplug this USB hub and I'll plug it back in. Nope. What the hell? Did I kill the cable? I didn't really think you could do that. Alright. I've unplugged everything and put. Oh man, what the hell? Fart. Oh man, what the shit? Bueller. What? What's happening here? Let me plug this USB cable into the other USB hub down here and see if it'll work. Plugged in over here. Let's see. This will isolate if it's the cable. Nope, now it's fine. That other USB hub is acting really weird. Strange. Very strange. I'll power cycle the computer and maybe that'll make the hub start to cooperate. That's weird. Okay, so let's connect and let's just come into the. Let's just take a look. Let's see what the hell is going on here in the PIDs and the filters and whatnot. So we've got D gain's up at 1.2, tracking at 1, master multiplier is up at 1.2. I'm going to pull the master multiplier down to 1. And then I'm going to boost the D gains and the tracking sliders up by 0.1. So I've net reduced the PIDs, but I just wanted that master multiplier back to 1.0. Pitch is up at 1.2. I gains are at 0.7. Move that to 0.8. D-max is pretty aggressive at 1.4. Let's pull the D-max down a little bit. I'm also going to chill out the dynamic damping gain from 50 to 40. D-max at 1.2. Stick feed forward is at 0.6. I'm going to keep pulling that down to smooth things out. Okay, I-term relax is at 10. That's good. Motor output 100%. Good. Dynamic idle is at 30. Thrust linear is at 10. Could be a thrust linear. No, well. Yeah, no, I don't want to move thrust linear. That's good. Rate profile, throttle midpoint. This all looks fine, although these are too low. It moves up to 40. Okay, so filters. What's happening here? D-term is at 1.25. Let's bring it down to 1.2. We've got one gyro RPM filter on. We've got one dynamic notch filter on. So let's do this. Let's give it a second dynamic notch filter. Min and max frequencies are fine. All right, so we're giving it an entire additional dynamic notch filter, which will hopefully, my hope is that it will um, find whatever the hell frequency this frame is wanting to vibrate at and just crush that frequency. It should be pretty, we should be able to tell pretty quick. Um, Although maybe not with a half-dead battery. Well, it's not really half-dead. It's 4.05. So, yeah. If this frame... Brandon, are you in the chat? Brandon's Baked Beans is not in the chat. I'm trying to think if the... Yeah, the dynamic filters will do a good job tracking frame resonance. The RPM filters do a better job at tracking motor band vibrations. Motor band vibrations coming from the motors and the props. They will ramp up and down with the RPM of the motor. The dynamic filter searches for vertical bands, which are from like frame resonance, as an example. Better. Oh boy, that was a lot. Oh, it's better for sure. So it needs that. It really needs that. So, like what I was saying the other day, if we can get somebody with a black box build with this frame. Did you see that judder? See that prop wash? Oh, fucker. Oh boy, that was a desync. Come on. Yeah, we are at the point. For fuck's sake. You dirty bastard, you. We are at the point with this tune and just this build in general that it doesn't have enough PID gains to handle the prop wash. Jesus, that was wedged in there. I probably just banged the shit out of these brand new props. At least one of them. Nah, it's not too bad. So yeah, we're at this point with this frame where like the frame is causing me to have a rig that fucking hell has prop wash. I could certainly crank the PIDs back up and have it be more. Well, let's try. Hold on. Now that we have that extra filtering, let's see if we can just come in here and push this and push this like that. Because that should be enough. On a dead battery, it's cool. We'll see in a minute on a fresh battery how it is. It's... Whoa, man, this AIO is having a hard time. Yeah, I mean, there's still no bounce back there. But, see that little judder? See it? Ah, idiot. See if I can get to do it again. See it? There's a little judder there. You know, that's a result of bringing the PIDs down. On the Meteor 60, or the regular Meteor 65 frame, we can run the PIDs higher because it's a stiffer frame. So yeah. Well, you know, let's keep pushing this tune. Actually, let me add another little bit to the tune. Because, well, actually, let's see what happens on a fresh battery. Off throttle, it might be all angry again. Let's see how it is on a battery at 4.31 volts. Ooh, beautiful. Oh, it's good to go. That extra dynamic notch was exactly what we needed. I just hit myself in the neck. Profile, simplified tuning. Here we go. Let's fix this tune, yo. This is really where I want these to be. Come on. Come on. Ooh, yeah, baby. We're back. Okay, so... Oh, for fuck's sake. I hit 3 cymbals somehow. Okay, so the airframe needs a second dynamic notch, it looks like. Ah! Oh! God, I'm getting like motion sick all of a sudden. That's what was weird. I'm trying to like rail the thing around. I'm not trying to actually... Oh my god, I hit my hair. Okay, now we're good. Look at that throw, yo! Not to be confused with froyo frozen yogurt. Ah! Oh god! Well, if all it needs is an extra dynamic notch, I'm down with that. Man, I'm having like a weird, like I feel like shit's gonna poke me in the eyes right now. I'm having a really strange experience flying this at the moment. You ever get that thing where like I used to get this in like clothing stores with my mom, where like the clothing racks, the ends on the clothing racks were like perfectly eye level. And I'd be like, like, I don't want to trip and fall and, like, fucking gouge my eyes out. I'm having that same, like, weird feeling of, like, oh, God, something's about to poke me in the effing eyes right now. It's strange. Ah! Oh, no! Ah! Man, this thing is reactive as shit. Oh, eat it! Oh, come on. Ah! No, 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 don't be stuck, don't be stuck. Yes. Here we go. Ah, fart. Let's try it again. Oh my god, man! There might be a little bit of a situation where the extra weight of the regular meteor frame is actually what I want. This maybe doesn't have enough throw. Like, look, I'm throwing it towards the dive. I got it that time, but I was throwing it towards the dive and it wasn't making it. The obvious solution is just to go faster. But yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. At this weight, it might be like a 5-inch rig without a GoPro. I hate the way 5-inch rigs feel when they don't have GoPros on them. Like that's too big of a propeller for that weight of a rig. And this is almost starting to kind of have that same thing going on, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just flying too slow and trying to blame it on something. Farts! Stop! What was that? Jesus Christ. I'm all over the place today. Interesting. Interesting. Matt Trombley says, do you use air mode crash prevention? Yes. If you're going to be flying acro, you pretty much have to use air mode. Otherwise, it's just, yeah, off throttle. You're gonna get all kinds of weirdness. Crash prevention, absolutely. I'm on the fence whether or not I like what crash prevention does. There's certain stuff that that crash prevention does. There are certain scenarios where crash prevention absolutely saves me. There are other scenarios where it kind of screws me over. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm still sort of on the fence though. All right, this tune is getting towards the edge. Yeah, I cannot push this tune any farther. It is right next to the edge. It's not at the edge yet, but it's close. I think it's just I think it's just barely. Oh boy, the death power loop. I think this tune is just barely backed off enough where it's kind of okay. Or I might want to back it off a little bit more. God, I forgot all about that power loop. Rejected, yo. Oh! Come on. Stop it. This would... I don't think I can make this, but... Ultra Mega Super Power Loop. Oh! Let's try that again, but we'll do it somewhat right this time. One more try. Ah! I did it on purpose. Ah! I wish this basement had like 20-foot ceilings. Can you imagine? Oh no! Oh, the little TV half pipe. That was cool. Ah! Get in there, Lewis! Oh my goodness. Get you some of this. Uh-oh. What's up and what's down? Where am I? Oh my god! Why you do me like that, Newbie June Gates? What's happening now? What? What? What the hell? Oh, don't start quacking, phone. What was that? Completely and utterly rejected. Oh! No! I'm trying to fly like smooth and chill, and I'm just running into everything. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Shut up, phone. Shut up! My make dinner alarm. Alright, guys. We're going to do one last battery, and it's going to be on the heavier rig, and I think I'm going to feel a difference. I think I'm starting to dial in on the difference that this lighter weight rig actually does make. But let's see. Let's take a look. This is also going to be on a fresh battery. So this is now the WeBleed FPV 32,500 kV Screamer powered rig, which is a little heavier. Ready, little fella? Am I Stevie Wondering? I'm not Stevie Wondering. Let's take a look. Okay. Uh-oh. Right front motor ain't spinning. Left rear motor ain't spinning either. What the hell's happening here? Oh, they're hitting the ducts. Oh, for Christ's sakes. The fresh props are just hitting the ducts a little bit. Hold on. So the easiest way to fix that is to go into turtle mode and just spin each motor up. Although this right front... Nope, there it goes. There we go. Ouch. They will self-clearance themselves. Clarence. Wow, what the fuck? There it is. Alright. They have clearanced themselves in. Now we shall fly. It's not going to be a good test. So because the propellers are hitting the frame a little bit, you can see the jello. See, this thing still has tons of float. But here's the thing, I'm used to this. Like, if I keep putting batteries through the super lightweight rig, like, I might get used to it. Like, can you tell that I'm used to this all up weight? Oh, wow! Missed it on that one. I can't believe I got it on that first hit. Oh, I got it again! Jeez! Ah! Yeah, I mean... Oh, boy. I don't know, man. I really wonder if this is, like, the right all-up weight. If this is not too light, not too heavy. I've been wondering for a long time if we were gonna get to that point, where we went too lightweight. There's people who say that they hate the way lightweight 5-inch rigs fly, right? So what we're flying right now is kind of like a 700, 750, 800 gram 5-inch rig, which a lot of people say they really like the way that flies. The other rig is like my glides, you know, like 600, 605, 610 grams. This is incredible. This flies great. But again, could absolutely be that I've got probably in the thousands of batteries through this exact setup here at this exact weight. So yeah. Or the WeBleed motors are magic. I don't know. I mean, I doubt that. I mean, they are magic, but I doubt that they're more magic than the Cinewhoops because they're all being made in the same spot. So yeah, kind of doubt that, but you never know. You never know. What is this? There's just a cable. Where are you? Who are you? Where'd you come from? I think it was pretty obvious which one I was flying better on. But it's tough to really pinpoint that. It really, 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 really is. But we will do more. I mean, I think what I'm starting to figure out here is that the all-up weight, the airframe is not like the end-all be-all, right? Like the airframe is not God's gift to frames, and nothing wrong with the Meteor 65, the OG one. And I might actually prefer it. For racing, you probably want the lighter weight setup. You almost certainly want the lighter weight setup for racing with the airframe. But for freestyle, regular old Meteor 65 might still be the way to go. I'm gonna spend some more time with both of these and we'll see. But yeah. Gage stays CiottiFPV. With the last comment of the live stream, it says, if we can see the tune on the heavy one too, please, Serge. Gonna set mine up soon. Have the exact build. So I typically don't like when I go into Betaflight, like my tune will flash up on the screen. But when people request it, I don't typically give the tunes out. Even if you're using the exact same parts, you probably live somewhere that has different air density than me. You're probably on a different module than I am. You're probably on a different refresh rate than I am. There's a million, and you're a different pilot than I am. My tune, my rates, everything is set up for my flight footage to look exactly the way I want it to, with the way that my thumbs move on the sticks, etc., etc., etc. Someone else's tune is not going to really help you out in any way. Someone else's tune is for their specific rig at their air density, for the way that they fly, for the way that they want their footage to look, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. Betaflight defaults nowadays in 4.2, 4.3, 4.4 are brilliant, and they will work with most rigs, and you will get something that performs amazing. If the quad is doing something wrong, the tooltips in each slider are going to explain what each one of those sliders does and the problems that they're going to fix. So you can just use the tooltips and the sliders to fix any flight problems that you're having, or talk about them in my Discord or here on the chat. But yeah, the defaults are your best bet. Also, going more aggressive with your tune from the defaults for most people doesn't really make much sense. If you're trying to get hired for your flying, or you've got a YouTube channel that enough people watch that and you're vain enough that you want your flying to look as good as possible in front of those people, those are the reasons to push your tune. If you're flying for fun, pushing the tune is going to make you a worse pilot, because it's going to cover up the scenarios that you're putting the rig into its own dirty air, and that's really good information that you want to have. Also, by cranking the tune up, you've got a rig that's more fragile that you can't fly as hard and crash as hard or run as beat up gear on. So I really, like, for 99% of people, I don't recommend you push the tune beyond the defaults. You can do whatever you want, but there are a lot of benefits to leaving the stock tune as it is. And like I said, on most rigs, the stock tune is damn near perfect. And again, when you put the rig into situations where it's not perfect, there's your chance to learn. If you're in that learning phase, if you're already as good of a pilot as you ever want to be, or you just don't care about getting better as a pilot, man, am I jealous, first and foremost. But also, then, yeah, sure, push the tune. But if you're still trying to learn and get better as a pilot, the stock tune is actually going to really help you out with that in a lot of different ways. So, yeah, I'm not going to show you my tune. There's not even anything really special about my tune. I have the D gains pushed, the P and I gains pushed, the feed forward turned way down, and a little bit of extra pitch, PI and D. But it's pretty subtle stuff. It's me mainly just no, it does make a difference. But yeah, you know, if somebody that is in need of an FPV pilot here in Atlanta is on my channel, I want the footage to look as clean as possible. If you're not in that scenario, then really think about not touching the tune, because, like I said, it's going to make it harder for you to learn. And I don't know. I think learning is one of the... It's just so hard to fly these things that, you know, constantly trying to push yourself to get better is one of the really cool things, because it's just like there's just no skill ceiling. You know, we still haven't seen the skill ceiling in FPV, even from guys like Min Chan or Evan, whatnot. So yeah, that's my thought on tunes, and that's why I never like share my tunes, because it's just, yeah, it won't do you any good. Gage says, just stepping up to the 32,500 motors and was concerned about the settings versus defaults for the high KVs for not only best performance, but I don't want to smoke the new parts. Yeah, no, there's no problems there. You will not have to turn the tune down. The stock tune will be either perfect or it might be a tiny little bit soft. But yeah, the stock tune is safe unless you've got like some janky ass build, which it doesn't sound like you do because you've got all the good stuff. So yeah, there you guys go. Thanks for hanging out. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Head on over to mylastnamefpv.com and support me on this crazy journey as we learn how to tune and build and fly better together, my friends. Here's a little bit more frying from the drift car night Thursday night. And I will see you guys, what's today, Sunday? See you guys tomorrow night at either 8 or 10. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I should invade Joshua's time slot or if I should just stay in my own. Maybe I'll put a poll up over on the Patreon page. If you want to control what I do, join my Patreon for $3 whole a month or more if you want to get in on some gambling. House beats. I'm okay with some house beats. All right, people. See you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.